What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called, Please Don't Assume Someone is the help just because they help someone who is old. So, to set the stage, so to speak, here are a few facts about myself before we get into the story itself. I am an Army combat veteran, and I have PTSD as well as a messed up spine that causes me to occasionally lose sensation in my right foot and leg. Now, due to that little combination, I, at 32, have to walk around with a cane, and have been since my mid-20s when I fell and bumped my head on the sidewalk. I also usually walk around with headphones on whenever I am out in public so I can focus on what I'm doing, not have a panic attack, and get back home where I belong. So it's early December and I need to buy Christmas gifts for my daughter, 2 nieces, and nephew. While I'm not one to go out shopping because of the previously stated reasons, my wish to spoil the kiddos outweighs my discomfort. So I go out shopping with my girlfriend to a store that buys the overstock from other stores and sells them here for cheap. So my girlfriend and I decide to divide and conquer. Oh boy, that was some good assonance. I will take care of my nephew and one of my nieces, and she takes care of our daughter and the other niece, with us regrouping occasionally, so if we find something for the other one, we can compare, reorganize our carts, and continue on, then eventually check out together. We have done this before, and it typically works, and if things get too bad, she waits with the carts while I stand outside for 10 minutes to get my body to calm down. This being a Sunday when we get there, and the fact that this place usually has an older clientele, I'm not surprised that most of the people here look like your normal group of retirees and people who just got out of the church service they just attended. But this place was packed this day. Just a sea of little old ladies and their husbands who you could tell did not want to be there as far as the eye could see, and their grandchildren running along with them. With this, I put my head down after taking a deep breath and just grab a cart and use it as something to catch myself with in case my leg acts up, and toss my cane in, slowly going through the aisles. After grabbing a few presents, I see a little old lady. The best way to describe her is a double for Where's the Beef Lady? The lady is struggling to get a box that is awkwardly large into her cart, with the help of her grandchild, who is doing admirably in helping her but kinda failing because he can't be older than 5 at the most. So I take off my headphones and ask her, "Excuse me, ma'am, may I please give you a hand with that?" The older lady smiles and thanks me, and I grab the box and look at it. It was a big Spider-Man themed playset with a few action figures all in the box. I set it in her cart, so all she has to do to remove it was to tilt it over and it can just fall in her trunk, and the people up front can scan it without removing it from the cart. Now, my nephew loves anything comic book related, but Spider-Man and Batman, he goes bananas for. So I decided I'm gonna grab one for myself to get for the little guy, and at $20, it is a steal, and I can spoil him more with the leftover Christmas cash with some more Spider-Man and Batman stuff. And now a much younger lady, Karen, asked me to help her with something that is right down the aisle, and it's too heavy for her to get by herself. Now, I have never actually met a Karen in the wild, but I now know what they look like, and I will hobble as fast as I can away from the next one I see when I grab my cane and start following her, assuming it's only going to be a few feet since they are short aisles, but they are done in this row column style to where you can see the back of the storeroom from the front with breaks to turn in between. After we go about 10 feet and I still don't see the buggy, I stop and get her to stop by saying, "Excuse me, ma'am." She stops and turns. "What?" I really need to get back, and you made it seem like it was close. It was crowded and I could feel the countdown of a panic attack coming. I figure I might have about 10 minutes if I can get back to headphones and not speak to anyone. And this is where I just got confused for about 4 minutes. She launched into an unholy tirade of how it's us workers who are too lazy to help anyone and should help her because that's what I get paid to do, and I should just shut up and do my freaking job unless I want to lose my job. I try to get her to calm down by saying, "I don't work here," but I get cut off before I can get a word out, and honestly, I quit trying after the second attempt and just let her have her tantrum like the overgrown child she is. Now, I'm just peeked off and focused enough to where the panic attack is not coming, and now I want to humiliate her. I lean against the shelving to steady myself because at this point, my back is killing me. and I'm just tuning her out and start taking notes of what she looks like, what she's wearing, something, anything to take her ego down a peg when it's my turn to act like an a-hole. She finally stops, thank God, and she is red huffin'. I figured, screw it, I'm not gonna insult her looks, too low hanging of a fruits. I'm just gonna peek her off more and smile when I'm doing it. So, are you done? I mean, you haven't said crap that applies to me yet, lady. But if you want to take an actual crack at insulting me, I'll wait. But I am impressed with your stamina. She is shocked.
How freaking dare you? I want to talk to your boss right now.
I chuckled at that, and then I had an idea. A terrible, horrible, wonderful idea. Sure, let me call them. Always happy to help. I then called my girlfriend and said, "Hey, boss, can you meet me over by the toys next to the food and soda? I have someone here that you need to talk to." I then hung up before she could respond and quickly texted her that I have finally found a Karen in the wild and she actually thinks I work here. Told her I'm calling my boss to get her to run with it. Karen tries to start again, but before she does, I ask her, "Please, just wait for my boss to get here. You can tell her everything, otherwise I'll ignore you and you'll just exhaust yourself." Pissing her off to the point to where I think she fried her brain trying to come up with a way to get to me. So she is stammering when my girlfriend walks up and asks what's wrong. Karen replies,
"Your employee will not do his job and help me to earn his paycheck and then insults me for it."
I interrupt her and ask my girlfriend, "Hey, boss, can you tell her how I earn my paycheck?" Then my girlfriend smiles and looks her in the eyes. "Actually, he gets his paycheck from the VA because he's a disabled veteran and doesn't work here. I don't work here either. I'm his girlfriend and caretaker because he has PTSD and a bad spine." Karen goes white, obviously feeling horrified about what she had just done, and all the older people are just staring knives into her. But you were helping people put things in their carts." I reply, "No, I helped one person with one thing to put in their cart, and it was not heavy, just big and awkward, and she was as old as the hills. You, however, are young and have eyes that work. Do you see a name tag, lady? No. Did you look for one? I'm guessing not. Are you a massive bench right now? Oh yeah. Good news is, you pissed me off enough to where you frazzled me out of having a panic attack. So, thanks. And boop, you. P.S. I did grab that Spider-Man toy for my nephew. He went crazy over it. It does me good to see the little ones happy." I swear, man, stuff like that just really makes me tear up a little bit. He genuinely loves his nephews and nieces. That's so Anyways, Karen, not only should you always treat your former and current service members with respect, but you should also treat normal people with respect, because if you're just treating them with respect because they're former or current servicemen, then you're still a jerk. I mean, less of a jerk, but still a big one. This story's called "Entitled Woman Thinks I Am a Student." This happened many years ago. Me and my grandparents were buying flowers at the garden store. The store was run by young people studying gardening. My grandfather had chosen a small rose bush to take to his grandmother's grave. There were people lined up at checkout, so in order to not lengthen the line, I went to see other flowers while my grandparents were waiting. The cashier was right next to the front door, so a longer line would have blocked the door. Suddenly, some woman came to me and began talking to me. Here's the cast.
"Entitled woman,"
a strange woman, and me, someone weird who thinks she can speak English.
"Where have you taken all the beautiful flowers?"
What?
"Yes."
Or? First, I thought she meant where we found the roses. Roses are... She interrupts me.
"No, I'm tired of it that you always hide the best flowers in the back room so that you can sell them to relatives. I've earned equally beautiful flowers."
"Sorry, but I don't work here."
"They come to my mother's grave. They must be beautiful."
At this point, I look at my grandparents, but they don't realize I need help. My grandfather talks to someone he knows and doesn't look my way. Entitled woman grabs my hand and says angrily,
"Are you listening to me?"
Me very confused. I myself was not even in junior high, so I had no idea how she imagined me to be about 4 years older. Well, my grandfather bought roses. They seemed to be in good shape.
"Where are they now? Show me where they are."
I walked to the roses while the woman was muttering to herself behind me. Me stopping, "Here." And I point to the roses. The woman begins to complain about the look of the roses and demands me to bring her better looking roses. I don't know if they have any more roses. You might want to ask the cashier or someone who works here. The woman does not listen to me but continues to ask her questions. Finally, I pick up one of the roses and say to the woman, "This looks good. It has open flowers and few buds, so it should bloom for a long time with proper care. This is what my grandfather bought."
Well, if you have no others, then I guess this is good. But you better come to the cash desk right away so I can plant this before dark. How much does this cost?
I'm starting to walk towards the register and outside the doors where my grandparents are already waiting and say, "I don't know, ask the cashier." A woman is just saying something when my grandfather calls me.
"Well, come on now, OP. We should still go to the cemetery."
Okay. I walk to my grandfather and hear entitled mother rushing over to the cashier and just passing the woman, paying her flowers, and beginning to complain about how unprofessional I am. I stop at the door to see when the salesman answers confused to the woman.
"But she doesn't work here. She doesn't even look old enough to be one of the students. And besides, I just sold flowers to her family."
Only now does the woman turn back and look at me properly. She turns completely red and starts stuttering but can't say anything, while I wave at her and run after my grandparents. Yeah, imagine yelling at a child because you think they work there. That's ridiculous. This story's called Shipping Groceries. Here's a story that stuck with me ever since it happened. This was 12 years ago while I was working at a grocery store for my final year of high school before moving away and starting at uni. First note, there were at least 4 other grocery stores from the same chain in the area. I had finished my shift, had the early shift, and was heading home when I realized I forgot to do my shopping after work. Good for me that another store is on my way home, and I decided to go do my shopping there. I get the things I need and head down to the register to cash out. When I get there, I notice there's a bit of a queue forming up and I see that the cashier girl is working as fast as she can while attempting to call someone over to open a second register. Here's the scene. It's mid-afternoon and most people are finishing work and going grocery shopping before heading home. The store is full of customers and also the shift changes for the employees. At the register, there's a woman I know from my own workplace, referred to as Single Mom, with her 2 kids and a lot of groceries, doing her weekly shopping. Single Mom is not having the greatest time, with her youngest kid on her arm and the other kid pulling on her, wanting to go home, and all while Single Mom is trying to put her groceries up on the counter. Behind Single Mom stands another woman, Karen, who's dressed smart. Skirt, shirt, and a business jacket. And this lady is impatient and clearly does not care for Single Mom and her struggles. Karen starts mouthing off to the cashier.
You need to call someone to come open up a second register. This is taking too long and I have an important meeting.
I've called a few times and someone will arrive when able to open up a...
Don't give me that BS. I've been watching you. You haven't even bothered trying and you work so slow I'm surprised they even kept you on.
At this point, I can tell Single Mom is feeling very embarrassed about causing a queue and her kids making a scene. I can also tell that the cashier is taken aback by the comments from Karen. Second note, I had a part-time job as a bouncer/doorman at one of the local pubs in addition to the grocery store. Dealing with drunk and/or entitled idiots makes dealing with people like Karen a lot more manageable. Excuse me, miss. She did call for someone to come, but the store is in a rush at the moment. Just be patient and everything will work out fine. Karen turned around and looked at me with a stare that could melt paint.
How dare you speak to me like that? I am CEO at Boats R Us, shipping company, and I will not tolerate anyone talking that way to me.
She then looks me over and we both realize I'm wearing my uniform under my unzipped jacket.
Get over in that register and do your effing job.
Listen, I don't work in this store. I work at the other one a few blocks down.
Lies. You have your uniform on. Trying to slack off, are you? Get behind the register or I'll have you fired. One word to your manager should do the trick.
Before I can respond to these threats, the sweet cashier attempts to cut in.
He doesn't work for us, lady. He's employed at another store. Shut the F up. I'm going to get you both fired for this incompetence.
Her gaze now shifts to Single Mom, who's putting up her final few items and getting ready to pay. The face of Single Mom drains of all color when she realizes her wallet is missing, and without missing a beat, Karen goes into overdrive.
Are you effing joking? All that waiting with those whiny brats for you to not even have your wallet with you? This is unacceptable. I demand to speak to the manager. You too,
pointing a finger in my face and at the cashier,
are finished here, and you,
pointing at single mom and her kids,
get your effing kids and get out. I suggest doing your shopping somewhere else and get rid of your kids while you're at it. You're clearly not cut out to be a mother.
I just about lost it here. I knew single mom from our own store, and she's a loyal customer to our chain of stores. Her kids are quite nice and polite, but like everyone else in life, they can also have a bad day. Seeing her starting to tear up got my blood boiling. Hey! And that's about as far as I got when from behind, a voice calls out from an unknown stranger. This man moves past me, holding a carton of milk and a loaf of bread, and moves up to single mom and the cashier.
You lost your wallet somewhere, miss?
I must have dropped it when I got my kids from kindergarten. I am so sorry for this.
Don't fret, miss. I'll pay for your items,
he said with a kind smile. Karen is actually speechless at this point, but I can tell she's fuming at this man and she is not done.
Who the heck are you? You just cut the line.
Enough! I've been standing here watching you treat these people like dirt, and you should really consider how you behave, especially in public.
Excuse me? How dare you talk to me like that? You should have just shut up and stayed out of this because it's none of your business.
I felt bad for the kind man who helped out single mom and was really polite about it all. He was gonna get worked over by Karen for this, but to my surprise, he was really calm and actually starting to smile. Then, without saying a word, he handed her a business card. A little confused about it, she accepted it and studied it for a bit. Her face turned pale and she dropped her groceries on the floor. Her eyes were wide as plates and rapidly moving from the card and to the man.
You see, I think you should pack your office and look for work somewhere else.
Karen had just started her job at Boats R Us shipping company. She was not the CEO, but a secretary. The man, however, was the owner and chairman of the board of Boats R Us. A little case of I don't work here and instant karma, and yeah, I'll remember that story until the day I die. Oh boy, that was beautiful! Those are the kinds of endings we want to see in I Don't Work Here Lady. I don't care if that story is unprobable or improbable. Is it? Which one is it? Improbable. But that was good. I like that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.